Hey everyone, it's Constance from Prohashing. Today we're here with a video for new users on how to use our site, set up a miner, and begin mining with us. One of our features that attracts new users the most is that we rent your hash rate and allow you to be paid out in any coin, no matter your equipment. So it's not a limiting factor here with us. Now we're going to walk you through the process of registering a new account. So we'll click register. We'll select our username. We are going to also put in an email for additional security here. And once I've registered, it'll take a couple seconds, but it will automatically bring me to the settings page. Okay, so now we're going to take a quick look at our dashboard and our details page, which are both going to be pretty sparse until we start mining. But I wanted to give you guys a look at what they look like before we set up our miner and start mining, and all of those pool boxes start to be populated. We go to our details page. So now let's set up our payouts and then we'll connect our miner. Okay, so before we set up our miner, I'm going to finish my payout settings. I am going to be earning Litecoin, and I have a Litecoin address here. And then while I'm here, I'm also going to set up my backup coin, which I want to be Ethereum. But I do not want to earn Ethereum. So let me grab that address. So we'll save those addresses. Good, they saved successfully. Now we'll go down here and change default backup coin to Ethereum because we don't want our backup coin to be a coin that we're currently earning. So we'll change it to Ethereum. There we go. Our settings are all set to go. I do want to do constant earnings instead of portfolio targeting. Further explanations of those can be found in the help page as well. But now we're ready to set up our miner, and then we'll take a look at our dashboard page. So now it's time to set up our miner. I have a D3 Antminer here with 2 power supplies. I have it set up on a board and already plugged in the Ethernet cable. I need to try to find the miner's IP address to access its settings and point it to Prohashing with the settings that I want. This is usually the hardest part. I used a program called IP Scanner, but even then it wasn't blatantly obvious which IP address it was, and I did have to try quite a few until I found the Antminer login. For now, I'm going to boot up the miner and let you hear it. It will start out as a low hum and then will get really loud. Once it gets to that point, I know that I will be able to find the miner's IP address on my network. After it boots properly for us here as a demonstration, I'm going to move it to another room for the remainder of the video. So let's boot and listen. Okay, so I have our miner set up in another room. I still have the IP address. As you can see behind me, I managed to get to the miner configuration tab. And we're going to start setting up our pools. Obviously, if one pool isn't able to be connected to, it'll move through and try the other pools. But for right now, we're just going to set up our pool with Prohashing. And for that, we're going to look at the help page because I need the help. So step 1, register as a new user and log in. We have already done that. Configure our settings. Configure payout proportions and addresses. We've already done that. And using the A equals argument to select the algorithm for our miner. So we'll come over here. So we need the A equals password argument, and our algorithm is X11. These are not case sensitive. We can optionally set up electricity usage using the P and W password arguments, set up US dollar payouts, and donate some of our earnings. Step 3 is to point our algorithm at this URL at this port number. So let's put that in there, but we need to get the actual port number. So let's take that back. And here is a link right next to it for the actual ports for all of the algorithms. We have a table for all users except cloud mining rentals, and then the table for cloud mining rentals specifically. And we're doing X11, not cloud mining rentals. So that's the port that we need to fill in here. And that's our URL. So let's see what's next. Use the same username that you used to log into the website. And for this miner, there's only one field left, so it must be this one. Okay, what's next? Enter a blank password or use password arguments. We already know we used the A equals as recommended up here. Let's take a look at the other ones. Right now, the one that I'm most specifically interested in is I want to name my miner. So I want to use the N equals argument here. Password arguments are separated by commas. You don't need spaces, so N equals. We'll name it after me. And then we'll save our settings. And once they've been applied, we'll go over and take a look at our dashboard and see how our miner's doing. So our miner is still saving from our settings. So we'll see it once it pops back up here. We'll give it a few minutes. Okay, and that was relatively quick. So we can see that my miner is connected. It hasn't had enough valid shares yet. I just ended up restarting it by saving the settings. So I'm going to let it run for about 6 hours and check back in with it. And we'll see that hopefully all of my data has come through and my miner hasn't had any issues. So I'll see you then. Okay, so it's been about 6 hours since we started our miner. So let's take a look at the site and see some of the things that has been populated. We can see in the live mining status that our miner is still chugging away. And despite it going for about 6 hours now, it actually says that it's only been going for about 54 minutes. So that could mean that our miner may have had a hiccup and restarted itself, or maybe the mining server needed to be restarted. That just lets us know that somewhere along the way there was probably a hiccup. And now we can come over here to live balances and we can see that I have a balance in Litecoin. Right now my balance is 0.003, about 19 cents worth, which unfortunately the payout threshold is 0.03, so we don't have enough to reach that default no fee payout threshold. But we do have mechanisms for users to alter their payout thresholds to trigger more frequent payouts or less frequent payouts. So let's take a look at that now. On the settings page is where you'll find the ability to change your payout thresholds. Under payout addresses for the coin, whenever we entered in the address, below that is also some additional information. The minimum, the default, and the maximum thresholds. The minimum is what we require you to have any kind of payout. Any less than that and your entire payout would get eaten up in fees and you would be essentially receiving nothing. We have the default free threshold, which is fee-free. So anything below that you will incur a fee, which is most likely the minimum at 6 cents in this case. So at a certain point, we don't charge you for that fee if you meet the default, which is $2 or 0.03 Litecoin. We also have a maximum for people who want to get paid out less frequently, and that is 1.6 Litecoins or $100 worth. And of course, that incurs no fee as long as you're above the default. The only way you incur a fee is if you're below the default. So just so we can trigger a payout in the next 24 hours, we're going to lower our fee to that minimum. we know we have 19 cents, but we'll set it to 6 and save. And we've changed our default payout threshold now, so we're going to go back to the dashboard page and take a look at what happened. Okay, so now that we're back on the dashboard page, we can actually see that in the box, once we expanded it, it did reflect that our payout threshold was indeed lowered. And this means that it will trigger a payout within the next 24 hours. So we'll check back in tomorrow to see how our account activity was altered to reflect that. Okay, so it is the next day. As you can see, my miner is not going. I did turn it off last night. We can see that our balance in Litecoin here is now dust. It is far below even our lowered threshold. So we will have to hold on to that dust balance or forfeit it unless we choose to keep mining. The other changes that we'll see are in our account activity. So here at Prohashing at midnight every day, EST, we credit accounts what they mined that day. So that is what we see here in this earned row here. We earned our full balance. And then sometime generally within the next 6 hours or so, could be less, way less, or sometimes more depending on a lot of factors that are under our control. Sometimes transactions just don't go through the blockchain very fast. But we can see that our amount that we earned is slightly less due to the fee that we incurred here. Additionally, if you want information, you can also click on either your to address or the transaction ID, and it'll automatically take you to the block explorer if it's available, and that information will be available to you. So that's how payouts work here at Prohashing. So I know that we covered a lot of material, but we're hoping that this video helps those that requested it and those that may be interested in it in the future. We're going to put some timestamps and links in the description, and we wanted to let you all know that we are interested in putting out more tutorials and other types of video and content depending on how well this one is received. And from all of us here at Prohashing, we hope to see you soon.